Why do you feel the need to explain yourself to people who already decided to misunderstand you? Why does one simple boundary turn into a full trial, where your tone, your motives, your past, and even your pain get dragged into the room? Why do you walk into a conversation wanting peace and walk out of it feeling like you just defended your existence? And why does the guilt stay with you, even when deep down you know you did nothing wrong? You know this moment better than you want to admit. Someone questions why you changed. Someone asks why you pulled away. Someone demands to know why you said no, why you did not reply, why you no longer tolerate what you once tolerated. And instead of holding your ground, you begin to explain. You offer context. You offer reasons. You offer history. You offer your heart. But the more you explain, the less respected you feel. The more honest you become, the more exposed you become. You can feel the shift in the room. They stop listening to understand you. They start listening to manage you. Your explanation becomes their map. Your vulnerability becomes their leverage. Your words stop serving you and start serving them. That is the part nobody warned you about. Explaining yourself feels noble. It feels mature. It feels like the high road. But in the wrong hands, it becomes surrender. Not because your reasons are weak, because their intention was never truth. Their intention was access. Their intention was to pull you out of your center and make you stand on ground they control. You were never too emotional. You were never too difficult. You were never wrong for wanting to be understood. You simply had not seen the deeper law beneath these moments. You had not seen that some people do not gain power by being right. They gain power by keeping you in defense mode. More than 18 centuries ago, Marcus Aurelius saw this with brutal clarity. He did not learn it in comfort. He learned it under pressure, inside politics, betrayal, war, noise, and constant human ambition. And what he wrote in his private reflections was not theory for a classroom. It was mental armor for a world full of ego, provocation, and invisible contests of control. This is exactly what Marcus Aurelius understood long before modern psychology gave it softer names. He understood that your peace is not destroyed by what others say. It is destroyed by the judgment you attach to what they say. He understood that the most dangerous prison is not public opinion itself. It is the moment you accept that opinion as a force that must be answered, managed, or defeated. That is how the outside world enters your mind and begins ruling from the inside. He called you back to what is yours, your judgment, your choice, your ruling faculty, the inner command center that decides what gets access to your mind and what does not. He kept reminding himself that other people's reactions belong to them. Their praise belongs to them. Their accusation belongs to them. Their confusion belongs to them. The moment you take responsibility for every reaction around you, you begin living as a hostage to minds that are not even at peace with themselves. Point 5 is the one almost everyone ignores, and it causes the deepest invisible damage. Because by the time you recognize it, you have already spent months, sometimes years, defending yourself so often that you no longer know where your truth ends and your performance begins. The first sign is this: you start treating your own boundaries like requests for permission. You say no, but then you rush to soften the no. You say you need distance, but then you wrap the distance in apology. You know you are exhausted, hurt, or done, but instead of stating it cleanly, you present your reasons as if they must pass inspection. You begin speaking like someone asking to be excused from your own life, and the other person can feel it immediately. They feel that your boundary is real, but your certainty is not. So they do not respond to the limit. They respond to the hesitation beneath it. This is how the trap begins. You believe explanation will make your boundary more legitimate. But to a manipulative mind, explanation does the opposite. It signals that your boundary is still negotiable. The moment you over-explain, you silently tell them that if they push hard enough, there is still a door. There is still a chance to wear you down, confuse you, guilt you, or pull one more answer out of you. And once they sense that, the conversation stops being about truth. It becomes about endurance. This is what Marcus Aurelius saw in the Stoic idea of impressions. An impression is the first hit, the first emotional picture that lands on your mind. Someone looks disappointed. Someone sounds offended. Someone acts wounded by your choice. And instantly your mind receives the impression that you have done something wrong. If you do not examine that impression, you obey it. You start explaining not because your boundary was unclear, but because their reaction frightened your conscience. This is not a flaw in you, it is a pattern in them. Second, some people do not ask for explanations to understand you. They ask for explanations to study your weak points. You have seen this before. The moment you tell them why you are hurt, they store it. The moment you reveal what made you leave, they memorize it. The moment you confess what you fear, what you miss, what you hoped for, they act sympathetic for a second, and later use every detail with surgical precision. The conversation looked honest on the surface. Underneath it, you were being profiled. That is why these conversations leave you feeling strangely naked. It is not because you were too open. It is because openness in the wrong room becomes data. Every reason you give becomes something they can twist. If you say you need peace, they call you avoidant. If you say you need respect, they call you proud. If you say you are tired, they call you cold. If you say you were hurt, they suddenly become the one who is hurt more. You enter the conversation with a wound. You leave it carrying theirs too. Marcus Aurelius would have called this a failure of assent. Assent is the moment you agree with a false reading of reality. It is the moment you let someone else's distorted interpretation become the frame of the entire exchange. You stop speaking from your ground and start responding inside theirs. You stop asking what is true and start asking what will finally satisfy them. But a person who feeds on access is never satisfied. They do not want resolution. They want continued entry. This is not weakness in you. It is strategy in them. The third sign is more subtle, and that is why it is so dangerous. You start editing yourself before you even speak. Before the conversation begins, you rehearse. You predict how they will react. You search for the safest wording. You shave off anything too direct, too sharp, too honest, too final. You begin shaping your truth for the comfort of the very people who made truth unsafe. By the time the words leave your mouth, they are no longer your words. They are your truth in captivity. You think you are being diplomatic. You think you are being mature. You think you are preventing chaos. But what you are really doing is abandoning yourself in advance. You are walking into the room already split in two. One part of you knows exactly what happened. The other part is busy translating that reality into something that will not upset them. And every time you do that, your nervous system learns a brutal lesson. It learns that authenticity is expensive. It learns that self-respect causes conflict. It learns that peace requires self-betrayal. This is where Marcus Aurelius becomes painfully relevant. He kept returning to the distinction between what is internal and what is external. Your character is internal. Your choice is internal. Your integrity is internal. Their approval is external. Their mood is external. Their interpretation is external. When you start polishing your truth to manage external reactions, you reverse the whole order of your life. You sacrifice the one thing that is yours to control in order to influence what was never yours to control. This is not confusion in you. It is conditioning built by them. The fourth sign is brutal because it disguises itself as morality. You begin to believe that if they are upset, you must explain more. If they are offended, you must repair it. If they misunderstood you, you must work harder to make them understand. Their discomfort starts feeling like your responsibility. Their reaction starts feeling like your debt. And soon your entire emotional life becomes a full-time job of preventing other people from feeling the consequences of their own ego. This is how good-hearted people get trapped. You are not trying to win. You are trying to reduce pain. You are trying to keep the peace. You are trying to stop the spiral before it grows. But there is a dark pattern hidden inside that instinct. The more you rush to regulate everyone else's emotions, the less space you leave for your own. Your anger gets delayed. Your intuition gets muted. Your fatigue gets ignored. Your truth becomes secondary to the emotional weather of the room. That is not compassion anymore. That is self-erasure, wearing the mask of kindness. Marcus Aurelius understood this through the Stoic commitment to justice without servitude. He believed you should act well, act fairly, act with dignity, but never enslave your mind to what lies outside your command. He reminded himself that the work is to do what is right, not to force a certain response from others. That is the difference. Doing right is yours. Managing every reaction is not. Once you confuse the two, your conscience becomes easy to exploit. This is not because you care too much. It is because they learned how to feed on that care. The fifth sign, and this one is critical, is that repeated explaining slowly breaks your trust in your own perception. At first you know exactly what happened. You know what crossed the line. You know what felt manipulative. You know what was said. You know why something in you withdrew. But after enough arguments, enough guilt, enough reversals, enough accusations that you are overreacting, selfish, dramatic, cold, or unfair, something starts changing. You stop asking what happened. You start asking whether you are allowed to believe what happened. That is where the real damage begins. Because once a person can make you distrust your own reading of reality, they no longer need to dominate you loudly. You will do part of the job for them. You will second-guess your memory. You will downplay your discomfort. You will rehearse their defense inside your own head before they even arrive. You will become both the witness and the interrogator. And the worst part is that from the outside, it can still look calm. No screaming, no chaos. Just one human being slowly getting disconnected from the authority of their own mind. Marcus Aurelius kept urging himself to strip things down to plain appearance. See the thing as it is. Name the event without the drama wrapped around it. Return to the bare fact. This is part of what he meant by examining judgments and clearing away false impressions. If someone crossed a line, that is the fact. If someone manipulates your empathy to avoid accountability, that is the fact. If someone only respects boundaries after punishing you for setting them, that is the fact. You do not need to decorate reality to make it valid. This is not instability in you. It is erosion caused by them. The sixth sign is the clearest once you finally dare to test it. The moment you stop explaining yourself, some people become restless, cold, offended, or strangely aggressive, not because your silence harmed them, because your silence removed their access. They were used to watching you scramble, justify, reassure, soften, and circle back. They were used to having a seat inside your decision-making process. They were used to your openness behaving like a public hallway they could enter whenever they wanted. And then one day the hallway closes. Watch what happens then. The same person who said they only wanted honesty suddenly cannot tolerate brevity. The same person who said they only wanted clarity suddenly becomes angry when your answer is clear. The same person who accused you of being complicated suddenly gets uncomfortable when you become simple. That reaction tells you everything. They were never fighting confusion. They were fighting your independence. They did not want more truth. They wanted more reach. Marcus Aurelius had no patience for bondage to reputation, approval, or fame because he knew how unstable the crowd is. Today they praise, tomorrow they accuse. Today they admire, tomorrow they distort. If you build your inner life around external noise, your peace will rise and fall with the most fragile minds around you. But the person who can remain inwardly governed becomes difficult to control. Not loud, not cruel, just unavailable to manipulation. This is not distance for the sake of pride. It is self-command for the sake of freedom. Now step back and look at the deeper mechanism behind all of this. Why does explaining yourself become so costly in the wrong relationships? Because fragile egos cannot tolerate ungoverned people. Someone who does not know how to regulate their own insecurity will try to regulate your behavior. Someone who feels small inside will look for proof that they still have influence somewhere. And one of the easiest ways to feel that influence is to make you emotionally account for yourself. If they can keep you clarifying, defending, reassuring, and proving, then they do not have to face their own emptiness. This is why these patterns repeat across friendships, family, romance, work, and every other human arena. The form changes. The psychology stays the same. Ego wants position. Insecure ego wants leverage. Wounded ego wants control disguised as concern. And the moment you keep answering every accusation as if it deserves trial, you quietly confirm that their emotional pressure still reaches your center. Marcus Aurelius opposed this at the root. He kept returning to self-command because the mind that can govern its own judgments cannot be easily recruited into someone else's theater. So what do you do with this truth in real life? First, stop answering questions that were never asked in good faith. You can feel the difference. A sincere question seeks understanding. A manipulative question seeks entry. Your body usually knows before your mind admits it. Second, shorten your explanations, not because you owe people coldness, but because clarity does not need decoration. A clean sentence often protects you more than a long defense ever will. Third, learn to separate guilt from wrongdoing. Guilt can be triggered by disapproval alone. That does not mean you betrayed your values. Fourth, return to facts whenever emotion gets weaponized. What was said? What was done? What changed? What line was crossed? Stay there. Do not let the conversation drag you into fog. Fifth, watch who becomes irritated when you become calm. That irritation is information. A respectful person becomes clearer when you become clearer. A controlling person becomes more agitated when your words stop giving them handles. Sixth, stop apologizing for needs that do not violate your conscience. Rest is not betrayal. Distance is not cruelty. Privacy is not deception. Silence is not always avoidance. Sometimes silence is repair. Seventh, let other people be confused without rushing to rescue them. This one is hard, very hard, because you were trained to believe that if someone misunderstands you, your job begins. But many people understand you perfectly. They simply dislike the limit you set. Eighth, preserve your ruling faculty like sacred territory. Marcus Aurelius treated the inner command center of the mind as something that must stay clean, undisturbed, and self-governed. Once you know that, you stop letting every emotional demand enter as an emergency. The goal is not to become cold. The goal is to become clear. And when you become clear, the whole power dynamic changes. Weak minds need endless access to your reasons because they cannot tolerate your independent choice. Strong minds do not. Weak people provoke explanation because explanation keeps you below them, defending, adjusting, and reaching. Strong people hear a boundary and adapt, even if they do not like it. Weak minds confuse your softness for permission. Strong minds recognize your quiet as final. Weak people need your guilt to keep connection alive. Strong people do not build connection on guilt at all. That means the moment you stop over-explaining, you have not lost your power. You have revealed where it was being drained. You start seeing every old conversation differently. You start noticing how often your honesty was met with interrogation, how often your care was met with entitlement, how often your openness was mistaken for obligation. And once you see that pattern clearly, something inside you hardens in the healthiest way, not into bitterness, into discernment, not into cruelty, into self-respect, not into isolation, into clean emotional borders. You stop confusing being understood with being safe. You stop confusing being nice with being just. You stop confusing another person's reaction with your moral responsibility. And from that point on, you no longer enter every difficult conversation hoping to be approved. You enter knowing who you are, what is true, and what you will no longer negotiate. That is the shift. The room may still react. The room may still judge. The room may still turn cold. But the room no longer gets to decide whether your truth is real. You do not owe a defense for every boundary. You do not owe your inner world to every demanding mind. You do not owe endless clarity to people committed to distortion. You do not owe guilt your obedience. And sometimes, the moment you stop explaining yourself is the moment their power over you begins to die. If you want more of this, stay here. This is where you learn how to recognize manipulation before it speaks its full name, how to understand ego and resentment before they trap you, how to read fake concern, hidden control, emotional blackmail, and silent disrespect, how to build stoic self-command under pressure, and how to protect your mind without losing your humanity. Subscribing is not support for a channel. It is a decision to become harder to control. Understanding human nature is not entertainment. It is protection.